In trigonometry, we are now on the compound angle formulas, and also we're going to get into the double angle formulas. Compound angle, and it says that these sums all said simplify without a calculator. So normally that means you're going to go for your special angles. Now, you could have done this in two different ways. You could have said, well, let's first reduce the formula so that this would be a acute angle, because that's normally what we did in grade 11. We changed the 105 to 75. How? So it's going to be negative. 180 minus means second quadrant causes negative. And then we would still need to go to our special angles with a compound angle. Couldn't I have just said cos 60 plus 45 though? Are you with me? Because then I'm done. Because then it is acute angles, which I do want, and it is my special angles that I do want. This child was probably thought, and you're right to think it, we never want angles larger than 90, so we always reduce. But now we've got that minus to deal with, and that's okay. We're not scared of the minus. If we do want to go for 75, then it would be 45 plus 30, or 30 plus 45, doesn't matter. But where does that minus belong? Still at the outside. And it's not an equation that you can make it disappear, that you can make it divided by so that it's gone. So if you do that now, you still have a reduction formula here for the compound angles. And the compound angle is cos, sin of the 45 and the 30, and the 45 and the 30. You see me always going according to the pattern that you don't miss it. But then with cos, that minus will be up, the plus will be up. But what about this? Outside the whole thing. So you need brackets there. Because that was 1 unit. But the moment that you split them up like this, it's not 1 and you want to put the brackets around it. And that's how you enforce it. Then you're going to still have to keep the minus in the bracket. And you're going to do 4 what? Special angles with your calculator to say that it's root 2 over 2, root 3 over 2, root 2 over 2, 1 over 2. Whether you know it, whether you get it with your little triangles, whether you get it with your calculator, that's with 1 mark for special angles. Then you just need to simplify. Now that you can do with your own brain or with your calculator. This is not the part that it's about don't use a calculator. The part was that you must use the other techniques, not punch in cos 105. And if you do punch in cos 105, you would get the answer that we're going to get here. That is, I don't know what the calculator does. Does it put the negative 6 at the front or at the back? Okay. So it doesn't matter. But whether you can do it without a calculator or just punch everything in, but please remember negative, bracket, don't forget to close the bracket and you'll get to this answer. Would you get the same answer with that one? Yep. It's actually a little bit easier, I think, because it's going to be cos, sin, with the 60 and the 45 and the negative in the middle, and then the special angles and the answer. So you had a little bit more work to do here, but it's fine, any which way. Let's have a look at number F. Some says, simplify without the use of a calculator. So again, my inclination is I'm sure that this is going to be special angles. But what's so special about 25 and 20? Okay, if you look carefully, and you're going to have to look carefully now at your sums and recognize what's going on here. Sin, cos, sin. And this is straightforward. There's nothing to do here but see that it is sin, cos, sin. And look at the angles. 25, 20, 25, 20. And I would like you to write it in the correct order so you can better see what's going on. So if you do go on with it, you know that it's sin, cos, sin is the sin compound angle. Compound of 25 and 20, and because it's sin, the plus stays a plus. And that did get me to a special angle, 45, which is root 2 over 2. How many marks for this sum? Maybe 3. Because it's for the actual knowing that it's a compound angle, for 45 and then for the answer, but maybe only 2, you're right. But more often than not, this is part of a bigger sum. So you need to first learn to be able to do this before you can get to the bigger sums. Right, so the next one has cos sin. Sin cos. 7227 is at least at the same spaces. But what's not so lekker is there now another formula, cos sin. We know it as sin cos, cos sin. So the best thing I can suggest to you is to write it rather in the correct form. Which is exactly the same. There's nothing taking place there. Just so you can better see what's going on. Sin cos, cos sin, and the angles are 2772, 2772. Now I know that it's definitely the sin compound angle, and the angle is 27 and 72. And the minus, because it's sin, will stay at minus. Which gives me sin? Minus 45. Very important, not 45. Minus 45. Which is the what? Negative angles. Reduction formula. That becomes a positive angle, but the ratio becomes negative. That's a reduction formula. Remember it was negative angle becomes positive, the ratio becomes negative, except for when it's cos with all the rules behind it and the reasonings. And then your answer with the calculator for the special angles is root 2 over 2. Alright, so we're looking at it and seeing sin, sin, cos, cos. How do we know this?
It's a
Cos, cos, sin, sin. That's how we know it. Right? So can we just swap it?
Yes.
Yeah. So if we do cos 28 and cos 2, the problem is there was a negative. You can't change the sum. This is not an equation. You can't change it and just divide the negative away. This will stay a negative, right? But then this will be plus, and then please get it in the same order. So it's going to be sin 28 and sin 2. Are you with me? So we swapped it around and it's fine. But now please remember, because it hasn't been said specifically yet, but all those sin, cos, cos, sin, or cos, cos, sin, sin, has this plus or a minus in the middle. What about the front? It's supposed to be plus for it to work. So I don't want that minus there, but sorry for you, it's there. The only thing you can do about it is take it outside of picture. You can't get rid of it. So then it will be cos minus sin, sin, to make it mathematically correct. Now I know that that middle part is the compound angle of cos. So it's going to become cos of angles 28 and 2 with a plus. But the minus at the outside will stay on the outside, and if you still wanted to have the big brackets, it's fine. So it'll be negative cos 30, and cos 30 is root 3 over 2 with the negative in front. And you can test yourself with its numbers. Punch into your calculator, sin, sin minus cos, cos equals, you should get the right answer, then you know everything has been right. Okay, but important, this has to be a plus to get the cos, cos, sin, sin, or sin, cos, cos, sin into the compound angles. Okay, now the next one just throws everything out. There's a few things that you can do. I think most of you would have said the first thing to do is
Swap the
146 shouldn't be larger than 90. We always reduce it into what? Acute angle 180 minus what? Right, please take your calculators when you do that under stress. So it's 45, but that's in the second quadrant, right?
Yes.
So cos in the second quadrant is? Negative. Now, like I showed you last year, please don't just make that a plus. Show the marker. Was a minus, but this becomes a minus, and then it's going to become a plus. Cos 34. Cos 34. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do with that just now. And then on the left side, what's going on there? Sin cos. What do you think? This is not a compound angle one. You can do it some other way. So please look at the sum. Every sum is different. What's going to happen here? You're going to plus what?
Two cos. Two of those.
Cos squared. Plus cos squared. Isn't that right? Couldn't I have taken them both to sin 56 then? But then that would be sin square 56. Because it's the same thing. So what do you think we should do on the left hand side?
Make it into a sin.
Maybe we can get sin square of 34.
Yeah.
Because if it's sin square of 34 together with that, it'll give me
1.
1. But what's going to happen here? If we go to 34 and it has to be 34, then this has to change into cos 34. Cos 34, which is cos squared. It's not sin. If you did change that into sin, it would have become sin square of 56. And that's 1. No, it's not. Why isn't it 1?
Because it's not the same
The
angle.
angles have to be the same for that identity to work. Okay. So the only thing you can do is change it into cos squared. But then what?
It's HCF.
Ah. Now the sum set. Simplify without a calculator. So what now? No, nothing. That's as far as I can go without a calculator, because 34 is nothing that I can do with 45 and 30 and 60 like you were taught. 105 we can manipulate into 60 and 45. 15 we can manipulate with 45 and 30. But 34, it's nothing I can do with special angles. So this is it. So when they say simplify as far as you can, this is as far as I can without a calculator. Done. Right. Let's have a look at the last one. Not one of those angles are the same. And they're all sin. What's going on here? So now you've got to make a choice. Maybe, like the previous one, it works out that it's not a compound angle, but something else can simplify. You can add like terms or whatever. But here we've got to make a choice. If it's sin, we've got to now decide, are we going to go for sin, cos, sin? Or are we going to go for cos, sin? Sin, cos, okay. So if this is sin, then this would be cos 25. Do you agree? The only thing I've changed is that one, so one more for me. But then please, on that side, what are we going to do there? If it's sin, cos, this has got to be cos, sin. Now the cos of this one will be cos of 65. There's my other mark. And sin 25, please don't touch it. Although it is also cos 55, 65.
It's 55.
Sorry, where am I now?
55.
Let's just start from scratch. Because any one of them can change. Alright? So the 65, the 55, I need to get them to be the same thing. 65 will then become 55. And sin 55. Now what have I achieved here? It's not the same. It's not the same. Is sin 55 equal to cos 35? No, it's not. Is it the same? Yes, it is. If I add them together to get to 90. Add them together to get to 90. That's not my problem. But I still don't have a message to go through, or a method to go through. If I had changed this to sin and cos, then this had jolly well better be cos 65. Is there a cos 65?
No.
Yes, there can be. That can become cos 65. Then this one will change into sin. But I've got to manipulate some more and we've got to stop now. Alright, we've got to get those angles together. I'll do that one next time.